In the midst of all of this, no title, simply one question to ponder: exile or compromise? Exile or compromise? Oblige me for a few moments as I reimagine this morning's text using my contemporary hip-hop culture-influenced imagination. For the story of Esther opens with King Ahasuerus hosting an opulent 180-day party. It is the party of all parties, the ultimate throwdown with a guest list that revealed his rich and famous lifestyle. For 180 days, partygoers stepped in the name of love. They leaned with it and rocked with it. They walked it out. They cranked that. They got silly. They pop-locked and dropped it. For 180 days, the king had what I would call, when I was growing up, when I was a youngster, we called them old school blue jean cabarets where I'm from, where all the officials dressed up in their tightest blue jean denim and jammed the hits like Frankie Beverly and Maze's Before I Let Go. James Brown, We're Gonna Have a Funky Good Time. Better yet, maybe they were jamming to the entire 1972 classic LP Isley Brothers live, stocked with hits like Work to Do, Come On, You Ain't Been Safe All Your Life, It's Your Thing, and Love the One You're With. You know how we do. We don't want everybody to know our business. For 180 days, the king had a straight-up house party. Where are my house music lovers in the house? The governors and the lieutenant governors, the executive cabinet and the trusted advisors wild out to girl our house you and give me body and follow me, and my personal favorite, it's time for the percolator. For 180 days, the king of 127 provinces hosted a VIP grown and sexy affair, and everybody in the club was getting tipsy and partying like rock stars and seeing spaceships on Bankhead, hollering big ups to all my haters. To top off this 180-day exhibition of wealth, the king threw a 7-day after party. Now, if you was a true partier, I'm talking to the truth. If you was a true party, Ann, you know that the party didn't start till the after party. So the king had a 7-day after party, and we read that Queen Vashti was having her own party for all of the women, and indeed the king was styling and profiling and basking in his official baller status, popping bottles and raising glasses. The text says that drinking was without restraint. That means it just kept going on and on and on. And the order had been given for all the guests to do as they desired. Drunk with the wine and bored with comparing the cut, color, and clarity of his bling, the king decides to go for the shock and awe factor to prove that he was indeed the original Don Dada and that all other women paled in comparison to his wife. He dispatched 7 trusted eunuchs to bring the queen to him immediately, adorned with her royal crown. What followed, though, sent shockwaves throughout the kingdom. It was enough to sober the king, for the Bible says that, but Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command. At this, the king was enraged and his anger burned within. And Vashti was exiled, never to come before the king again, and her crown given to another who would be better than she. Exile or compromise? Exile or compromise? That is the question. Vashti's response of no is often overlooked for the more palatable story of Esther. Yet to gloss over this monumental moment is to miss the making of a model of leadership that moves us from the sin of self-sacrifice and self-abnegation to the virtue of self-acceptance and self-development. Scholars debate on what type of party Queen Vashti was really hosting, as well as her occupation. It has been suggested that she was hosting a sexually explicit party herself and was accustomed to appearing before the king to show off more than just her crown. It is inferred that the request to appear before the king with the crown meant to appear before the king and his guests wearing only her royal diadem. But if this were to be true, I wonder what took root in her that caused her to interrupt the notion or the motion of the same old, same old. I wonder what caused her to flex her leadership potential and become a model for all of the women and men of Susa and a threat to those who found pleasure in her debasing display. I wonder what made her count the cost of perceived comfort and rented royalty and fame filled with misfortune. I wonder what made her declare, not on my watch. Exile or compromise. Exile or compromise. As I sat with this text for a few weeks, I could not help but come to the conclusion that sometimes exile is necessary. At times, graduates, you will find even a sacred calling. Sometimes exile is the divine imperative so as to be stripped from the shackles of European influence, internalized oppression, and self-destruction. It is possible to see liberating moments in standing up against unjust systems and half-baked policies and bureaucratic backlash, and in choosing banishment from the pomp and the circumstance of the religiously pious, and saying no to institutions and leaders who have been bought and bossed, and saying no to circumstances that leave us void of individual and collective agency. Exile can sometimes be the divine imperative. Exile presents the possibility of being saved from the negative effects of cultural colonialism, the spiritual amnesia, and moral disintegration. Exile or compromise. And so in this power-packed pericope, we can peep 3 points for which we need to ponder. First is this: graduates, beware of the invitations you entertain. From youngest to wisest, those of you who have graduated or transitioned from one level of mastery to the next, you are the balanced and the brightest, the top of the class, the creme de la creme, the talented tenth, the soon-to-be movers and shakers, the true power speakers, the change agents, and the metaphorical bomb in modern-day Gilead. Because of your beauty, your brains, your power, and your spirit, your presence will be requested at the banquet. Exile or compromise? That is the question. And so not only should we beware of the invitations that we accept, we need to beware of the pride of the powerful. Vashti's refusal imposes a restraint on the king, whose will is tantamount to the law. Such brazenness from the queen stirs up a furor in the court. Burning with anger at this defiance, Ahasuerus consults his legal counselors for a course of action. The king's advisors, afraid that other wives will follow suit and find out their own voice and have some integrity, recommends that Vashti be deposed of as queen, meaning that she get kicked out. The pride of the powerful, though, is threatened by your gift. And so as you take your rightful place as leaders, beware of the pride of the powerful. And so we beware of the invitations we entertain. We beware of the pride of the powerful. And lastly, we beware of the false frills. Outward success does not equal inner worth. For in today's society, the worth of a person is measured by his or her zip code, type of car, number of degrees, Ivy League affiliation, fraternity and sorority memberships, salary amount, job title, the pink, yellow, or platinum bling factor, whether or not you have 5, 10, 15, or 20,000 members in your church, driving an E-class or no class. Yet graduates, know that you could, and many of you will, have all of these things. But know this: your status in the empire should never compromise your worth. There will come a time when you will have to choose between revolution and apathy. There will come a time when you will have to choose between comfort or justice. There will come a time when you will have to choose between objectification or humanization. A time when you will have to choose between truth and heresy. A time when you will have to choose between righteous indignation and plain stepping fetching. A time when you will have to choose between the inevitability of pain and the option of misery, between destiny and depravity, between self-aggrandizement and self-worth. Make no mistake about it. For everyone under the sound of my voice, there will come a time when you will have to choose between exile or compromise.